Chapter 4. The Malevolent Presence. The oppressive silence of the attic was shattered by the sound of Sarah's ragged breathing, her heart pounding in her chest as she stared, transfixed, at the dark, amorphous shape that slowly materialized before her. The air grew thick and heavy, the shadows deepening as the unseen presence drew closer, its movements fluid and unnatural. Sarah clutched the tattered journals and the ornate music box to her chest, her fingers trembling as she fought the overwhelming urge to turn and flee. The music box seemed to hum with a latent energy, as if it too were attuned to the sinister force that now dominated the space. Steeling her nerves, Sarah forced herself to remain still, her gaze locked on the shifting shadows. As the dark presence drew nearer, she could make out more of its features, a vaguely humanoid form, with limbs that seemed to twist and contort in a manner that defied the laws of nature. Its eyes, if they could be called that, were mere pits of darkness, bottomless wells of malevolence that seemed to bore into the very depths of her soul. A shiver ran down Sarah's spine as she felt the weight of the mansion's dark history pressing down on her, the air thick with the echoes of the past. The journal she clutched in her trembling hands had revealed a twisted tale of obsession, madness, and the unspeakable horrors that had once plagued the residents of Holloway House. But now it seemed that the very forces she had read about were manifesting before her, a tangible embodiment of the mansion's deeply rooted evil. As the dark presence drew closer, Sarah felt a primal fear grip her, the rational part of her mind warring with the overwhelming urge to flee. But something deep within her, a stubborn determination that had driven her to this cursed place, refused to let her turn back. She had come too far to abandon her quest now, when the secrets of Holloway House were so tantalizingly close. Steeling her nerves, Sarah took a deep, steadying breath, her gaze never wavering from the shifting shadows. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice surprisingly steady despite the tremble of her hands. "What do you want from me?" The dark presence seemed to pause, as if taken aback by her defiant tone. For a moment, the air was thick with tension, the only sound the faint creaking of the floorboards beneath Sarah's feet. And then, a whisper, a barely perceptible murmur that seemed to reverberate through the very walls of the attic. "We've been waiting for you, Sarah," the voice rasped, its tone laced with a malevolence that sent a shiver down her spine. Sarah's eyes widened, her grip tightening on the journals and the music box. "How do you know my name?" she demanded, her voice wavering slightly, despite her best efforts to remain calm. The presence seemed to shift, its form coalescing and then dissipating, as if it were a living, breathing entity. "We've been watching you, Sarah," it hissed, the words echoing through the oppressive silence like the whispers of the damned. "We knew you would come, drawn by the lure of our secrets, our power." Sarah's mind raced, her thoughts a jumbled, panicked mess as she tried to make sense of the words. "What do you want from me?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "We want you to join us, Sarah," the presence replied, its tone almost seductive, tinged with a hint of dark promise. "To embrace the darkness that lies within these walls, to become one with the forces that have consumed this cursed place." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine, the hairs on the back of her neck standing on end. The presence seemed to press in around her, the air growing thick and heavy, as if the very shadows were alive and reaching out to envelop her. "I won't," she said, her voice steadier than she had expected. "I won't succumb to your twisted machinations. I came here to uncover the truth, not to become a pawn in your twisted game." The presence seemed to recoil, its form shifting and distorting, as if in response to her defiance. "Then you will suffer the same fate as those who came before you," it hissed, the words dripping with malice. Suddenly the air was filled with a cacophony of strange, unearthly sounds, a symphony of creaks, groans, and the faint whispers of unseen voices. Sarah felt her heart leap into her throat as she whirled around, her gaze sweeping the darkened corners of the attic, searching for the source of the disturbance. The shadows seemed to shift and undulate, as if the very walls were alive with unseen forces. Sarah felt a growing sense of panic rise within her, her rational mind struggling to make sense of the inexplicable phenomena that surrounded her. And then she heard it, a faint, keening sound that seemed to echo from the far corner of the attic, a haunting melody that sent a chill down her spine. Slowly, almost involuntarily, Sarah turned her gaze towards the source of the sound, her eyes widening in a mix of horror and fascination. The music box, the ornate, tarnished object that had captured her attention from the moment she had discovered it, was open once more, its delicate figurines dancing to a tune that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the mansion's dark history. But the melody was no longer the gentle, soothing lullaby she had heard before. It had transformed into a jarring, discordant wail that set her nerves on edge. As Sarah watched, transfixed, the figurines began to twist and contort, their movements becoming more erratic and unnatural. The air grew thick with a palpable sense of dread, and Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that the music box was somehow connected to the malevolent presence that had manifested before her. Torn between her desire to uncover the truth and her overwhelming sense of fear, Sarah found herself rooted to the spot, her gaze locked on the haunting spectacle unfolding before her. The shadows seemed to press in, the oppressive silence of the attic broken only by the haunting melody of the music box and the faint, whispered laughter that seemed to echo from every corner of the space. Sarah's mind raced, her thoughts a jumbled, panicked mess as she tried to make sense of the horrors that surrounded her. Was this the work of the dark, malevolent force that had claimed the lives of those who had come before her? Or was there something even more sinister at play, a cosmic force that had taken root within the very foundations of Holloway House? Whatever the answer, Sarah knew that she was in grave danger. The attic, once a repository of the mansion's forgotten history, had become a realm of pure terror, a place where the living dared not tread. And yet, she found herself unable to turn away, her curiosity and her determination to uncover the truth outweighing her overwhelming sense of fear. With a deep, steadying breath, Sarah tightened her grip on the precious artifacts she had uncovered, her gaze once more fixed on the shifting shadows. Whatever lay in wait for her, she knew that she could not turn back, not now, when the very secrets of Holloway House were so tantalizingly close. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Part 5 and stories. Thanks for watching.